Energy and Security, says the region will be moving to bring further legislation to deal with the issue that is ongoing and going forward. He says 80% of the killings are done by firearms, and 90% of those firearms come from one particular source, making violent crime a public health issue. Prime Minister Rowley says former Attorney General of Belize, Godfrey Smith, has been tasked to review the legislative templates and come up with new legislative proposals for changes to treat to what is being experienced.
We also expect that these acts, using the tools of trade of the criminals at large in our communities, from Bahamas to Suriname, St. Lucia to Trinidad and Tobago, that they be deemed to be acts of terrorism and allow us to view them not only by the executive, but by our judiciary, and allow us to fashion the appropriate legislation to deal with that.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister of Jamaica Andrew Holness has called on all officials in the region to wage a war against gangs. He says his country sees gangs as a threat, the ultimate case being the situation in Haiti.
But we also see gangs acting in ways and committing acts that can only be described as acts of terror. And therefore, I have called in Jamaica, and I'm making the call now at this CARICOM platform, that there needs to be a global war on gangs in the same way that there is a global war on terror. If the gangs are allowed free rein, they will challenge the effectiveness and undermine states, which we are seeing happening not just in the region in CARICOM, but in the wider Central and South American region.
Efforts are underway to have Martinique become the latest associate member of CARICOM. And a major step has been taken in this regard with the signing of an agreement. Prime Minister Motley spoke about the development, noting that CARICOM recognizes it needs to continue to expand.
We had the honor of welcoming through the signature of France and Martinique the possibility of Martinique becoming our newest associate member. It is still subject to the ratification of the French Parliament, but our engagement with them has been strong, and we are satisfied that all things will proceed there.
A mutually beneficial relationship continues to be fostered between the Caribbean and Saudi Arabia. This from Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, member of the Council of Ministers, and envoy for climate affairs in that country. He was speaking on the sidelines of the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting.
Over the past 4 years, for example, the amount of trade and the amount of interaction between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the CARICOM countries exploded. We have the Saudi Fund for Development is engaged in projects in the region, in this region, of roughly $1 billion. 4 years ago, it was less than 20 million.
Prime Minister Mia Motley is tonight assuring the country that while government continues to borrow to invest in national projects, the country's debt to GDP ratio is still heading in the right direction. She made this clear as government signed a U.S. $75 million loan agreement with the CAF Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean to finance the sector-wide approach program to support the operation Roots from Cultural Heritage to Innovation in Barbados. Our Anesta Henry has that story.
Barbados' debt to GDP ratio continues to travel on a downward trajectory, says Prime Minister Mia Motley. She adds that this is happening even as government is borrowing to finance projects that will grow the economy and improve the lives of citizens. She says it is important this message is relayed to Barbadians amidst criticism of government's borrowing.
When we came to office, we inherited a debt situation that when we added what the government owed to everybody, the debt to GDP ratio was 177%. We brought it down to 119%, and it went back up during COVID to 152%, as you would recall. It is back down now at the end of December last year to 103%, and we are working towards bringing it to double digit, hopefully by the end of this year, certainly the beginning of next year. And that includes all of these other instruments that we are signing. So, you know, if you start to make comments without appreciating context, the dumbest person in the room can look like the brightest person in the world.
Ms. Motley points to the fact that credit rating agencies have improved Barbados' credit ratings as evidence that the island's debt is manageable.
As you pay down debt, and you may recall that in last year's budget, I chose to pay down some debt as well, separate from what we were obligated to do. Even as you pay down debt, you need to borrow to build new capacity in the economy. If not, the economy simply will not grow.
The $75 million CAF loan will finance the construction of the National Performing Arts Center at the Newton Slave Burial Ground and also an amphitheater at the National Botanical Gardens. It will also finance the modernization of the air navigation equipment at the Grantley Adams International Airport. Minister in the Prime Minister's office with responsibility for culture, Dr. Chantel Maronite, says the construction of the facilities will benefit cultural practitioners and the country as a whole.
Yes, you know, it is a loan. It is something that we have to be able to pay back. But it's an investment as well. It's an investment. It's an investment in growth of the sector. It's an investment in space and opportunities for people to be able to grow their craft. And I think that is important in the whole equation.
CAF has been a partner with Barbados for over 10 years. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
Police are carrying out investigations into a shooting incident at Long Gap, Spooner Sill St. Michael, which has left one man suffering several injuries. According to lawmen, it occurred about 11 p.m. last evening. Officers say the victim, whose identity has not been revealed, was standing outside of his residence when he heard a number of gunshots and after discovered that he was injured in his neck and right shoulder. He was transported to the QEH in a private motor car and is in critical but stable condition. Well, coming up, the gathering celebrations continue in St. Peter. Regathering is in full swing as the parish of St. Peter continues with its month-long activities for February. Its St. Peter Poetry Open Mic Night was a big hit as Barbadians took in the event at the Happiness Bar in Orange Street, Speightstown. The creative contributions of several artists were on show, much to the delight of those in attendance. The St. Peter Parish Independence Committee also recognized several of the parish's residents who contributed to the literary and poetry fairs. They are Vernon Worrell, Maverine Ben, Carol and Tara Joltz, and Frank Jills. Meanwhile, St. Thomas is next in the line, and that parish is ready to stage its celebrations for the month of March. It gets underway with a faith service set for March 2nd at 4 p.m. at the Lestervaughan School. St. Thomas activities will be centered around the theme, nature. Kevin Henry of the St. Thomas Organizing Committee says its marquee event is set for March 29th.
The marquee event will be reinventing what used to be the Heart of Barbados project that used to be at the Project House in Sturgis and St. Thomas. This time will be a taste of it because it will only be one day, and that'll be on the 29th of March. And we're definitely looking forward to a very, 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 very fun and interactive day. We have on board with us the West Mahal Gully, Harson's Cave, True Chaka. We also have Flora Forest as well, who'll be partnering with us to offer different experiences to those of you who may not have been from St. Thomas, those from St. Thomas. So you could get out there and try to enjoy the views, the scenes, the natural beauty that we have to offer. And then also go to the farmers market there at the One Sturgis facility and support our farmers, our community. And then in the evening, we have some entertainment showing the best of St. Thomas throughout the years.
The St. Thomas Parish calendar of events will be posted soon. Chief Education Officer Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw says greater involvement of parents is required for Barbados' education transformation efforts to take root. She says the evidence shows parental involvement is one of the greatest determinants when it comes to student outcomes. Dr. Archer Bradshaw was among the panel for the Ask World Bank Caribbean series, where the urgent education crisis in the region was discussed.
Very often what happens is that students go to school, they learn certain things, they learn certain content, values, and so on. And then when they go home, these things are undone. So when parents are on board, the child then can have the necessary support to reach his or her fullest potential. So I agree with you that parents being involved is a critical factor, and I can give you the assurance that this Ministry of Education will continue to engage parents as we implement this transformation agenda.
It was no easy feat for the judging panel after an overwhelming response to the 98.1 The One and Morning Barbados vacation promotion. But in the end, 4 lucky couples came out victorious, winning the ultimate getaway. The couples all shared videos and pictures capturing the spirit of love for the promotion. It was held during this month of love. One couple also won a mobile phone, compliments Post Wireless. Marketing executive here at the CBC, Alicia Hinson, expressed gratitude to all participants and sponsors of the vacation promotion.
The judges had their task.
I'm glad you all had your task.
Not me. I didn't put no. It was too hard, and I said, I'll stay out of this one.
Yes.
But we thank everybody for participating. Of course, we thank our sponsors, Pine Hill Dairy, Post Wireless World, Hilton Barbados, Ross Trevor, Coconut Court, Burger King, and Girlfriend Expo.
Nice.
We thank them all for coming on board, and the winners are
here.
Sports is just ahead with Anne-Marie Burke. Time now to switch gears as we take in sports with Anne-Marie Burke.
Good evening to you, Tisha. We start with cricket as the Barbados women's team is ready and raring to go as the CG United Women's Super 50 Cup bowls off on Monday. The competition will be played in St. Kitts and Nevis with the final set for March the 7th. CBC's Damian Best reports.
The Barbados women team has been busy going through their final paces at the Weymouth Police Sports Club, gearing up for the 2025 edition of the CG United Women's Super 50 Cup in St. Kitts. Barbados finished 4th in the table last year with 14 points and a 3-2 record, while Jamaica women ran away as winners of the 2024 edition with 4 wins and just 1 defeat. Once again, Barbados will be without the services of windy skipper Hayley Matthews and hard-hitting batter Deandra Doughton, both of whom are in India for the Women's Premier League. Medium pacer Elia Aline will lead the side.
It's always a plus to have Deandra and Hayley in anyone's team. But I think for the last 2 years, we have been playing without Hayley and Deandra Doughton. So I think we're just asking the girls to put up the hand. We have the experience of Casey and Kaishana Knight. We also have Shamila Connell in the mix. And we have some campaigners like you have Alison Garden, who have been exceptional last year with the ball. So I hope those guys can come forth.
A key area the team wants to address in the lead-up to the competition is fitness, and they will put that to the test when they face Guyana on Monday.
Guyana is one of those teams I think we should expect a lot of spin. We are playing at Connery, good batting pitch. I just think we need to apply ourselves, take our chances, and let to score a base score. If we bowl first, we let to restrict them to a low total.
Meanwhile, head coach Waddy Eswick believes the girls have put in the necessary work and are making improvements in several areas.
My focus is, I like to think long term. My focus is we've got a very young side. So my focus in 2 to 3 years to see 6 or 7 Barbadians in the West Indies side. For me, that would mean success. You can win the tournament. We've won many a tournament. But when I look at the number of Barbadians in the West Indies team, they're not a lot. We've got Hayley Matthews and Deandra Doughton. They're off playing IPL. 2 big stars who are missing for us. We want more people in the IPL as well. We want these girls playing on the international stage. We want them playing in franchise cricket. That for me measures success. Not winning the tournament. If we win the tournament, that's fine. But I want to see people improving and people being good international cricketers, not just play international cricket.
So the full Barbados women's team reads: Captain Aline, Vice Captain Trishan Holder, Alicia Bowman, Shanika Bruce, Asabi Calendar, Shamilia Connell, Nijani Cumberbatch, Erin Dean, Keelia Elliott, Alison Gordon, Fianni Herbert Mears, Kaisia Knight, Kaishana Knight, and Alyssa Scanterbury. The first encounter, Barbados versus Ghana at Connery Sports Club in St. Kitts, starts on Monday at 10 a.m.
Paradise handed Pride of Gall Hill their first defeat of the 2025 BFA Premier League season last night with a 4-0 victory in the Christchurch derby. Meanwhile, Ellerton also got the better of Deacons. CBC's Almar Goodrich Boy takes a look at the action.
Valerie, the location for this round of BFA Premier League football. First half action between Ellerton in the purple and Deacons. 9 minutes on the clock. Romario Drake slips it to Rashad Jules, who's on his bike. 2 defenders to pass, twists and turns onto his weaker right foot and finds the bottom corner. Ellerton leading 1-0. And it went from bad to worse for the boys from Deacons. Dangerous cross into the box. Deacons players believe this should have been a foul. The referee doesn't agree. Goes down as a Russell Taylor own goal. Ellerton in control. 2 minutes later, the game was put to bed. Dritz again the mastermind behind Ellerton's success. Lovely cross, and Shaquille Bell is there to slot it home. Ellerton were 3-0 winners over Deacons. Featured game up next, Christchurch Derby, Paradise in Blue versus Pride of Gall Hill. And the fans were entertained from the start. Only 3 minutes gone, and the little Jamaican Roger Collins with the last touch. Paradise up 1 to the good at the break. Second half, change of direction. Gall Hill's keeper playing the sweeper, and it goes all round. Catastrophic, and is made to pay. Sharon Hoyt gets an early birthday gift, does not miss from there.
Sharon has just scored goals.
10 minutes later, Gall Hill found themselves in deeper trouble. Joe Moore Harris to Kamani Cox. Great awareness at the back post. Cold like ice. The point surely heading to Paradise. And Paradise would add one more in the 68th minute. This is a magnificent goal. A stunning header from Raymar, the wonderful Walters, as Gall Hill were beaten for the first time this season. Final score, Paradise 4, Gall Hill 0. And Mark Goodrich Boys, CBC Sports.
Well, that's it for my first look at sports. When I return, I have volleyball as well as school sports. So back to you, Tisha.
Well, thank you so much, Anne-Marie. Up next on CBC's NewsNight, the business report. Cheers to 5 years. That was the theme of a motorcade marking the 5th anniversary of the Kooyman megastore here in Barbados. Director Jury Kooyman tells the business report the 7-stop journey started at 6 Road, St. Philip. Trevor Thorpe was there.
Director of Kooyman megastore Yuri Kooyman says after the store opened, they had to overcome a number of unforeseen events, such as the pandemic, the ashfall, and hurricanes. He adds that the celebration goes beyond the 5-year milestone for the Barbados operation.
It's a year that we especially celebrate, but also coincides with us as from a corporate level. Kooyman celebrates 85 years as well. So the timing's not perfect. There's about 4 months difference between the two, but there's always a reason to celebrate, right? And with that comes giveaways. That's with the tour that we're doing today, but also with specials going forward.
Mr. Kooyman said the journey of the store in Barbados began long before the initial opening.
I'm also very proud. It's a lot of the team that we took on. Retail was a first for them, so with a lot of training, and now we have well-experienced employees as well in retail advising our customers when they walk in the store. So not only happy, but proud to see how that's grown.
Human Resources Director Sharon York told the business report hand-holding and staff exchanges have helped to strengthen the store's position in the marketplace.
I think the enthusiasm of our colleagues is really important to note. It's also important to note that the majority of colleagues who started in 2020 is still here. So we have a big core team of people who have been with us the entire time. So they've been with the company for even more than 5 years, because I just mentioned before, a lot of them starting in August 2019.
More development is in the works for the Kooyman megastore, and it will be made public in due course. Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Happy anniversary to Kooyman. Now here's a look at how stocks traded locally and regionally today.
In Jamaica, Victon Energy Limited, with 3,624,252 units, was the volume leader, followed by QWI Investments Limited and Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited. In Trinidad and Tobago, Massey Holdings Limited was the volume leader, with 127,787 shares changing hands, for a value of Trinidad and Tobago $491,087.97, followed by Republic Financial Holdings Limited. And here in Barbados, Goddard Enterprises Limited was the volume leader, trading 10,000 shares at Barbados $2.95 each, and they were followed by Banks Holdings Limited.
Well, there will be lots of outdoor activities, including AgroFest this weekend. It's time to clue you in on what's coming up on the weather with Carrie-Ann O'Neill.
Well, good night to you, Tisha, and good night, everyone. The high-pressure system is our dominant feature. As a result, we had dry and stable conditions. The winds across the region, they are moderate, and those seas, they remain above normal. We do have a small craft as well as high surf advisory in effect. The maximum temperature today was 29 degrees Celsius, the minimum 25 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 25 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity 81%. The winds, they're coming in from the east. We take a look now at some atmospheric conditions across the region, where those temperatures are ranging from 24 to 27 degrees Celsius. The humidity shows moisture is building over there in Antigua as well as Trinidad, and the winds are moderate across the region. We take a look now at our satellite feed, where the high-pressure system maintained dry and stable conditions here in Barbados. It was mostly sunny. Meanwhile, the winds, they are moderate across the region. The seas, moderate to rough in open water, with swells peaking at 3 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. Later on tonight, we can expect a mix of clear and cloudy skies, along with a few showers here in Barbados. Further south, a trough system maintained some isolated thunderstorms across the Guianas. Over now in the Western Caribbean, there is a cold front maintaining wet conditions across sections of the Bahamas as well as Cuba. Elsewhere, they enjoyed mostly fair skies. That's our first look at the weather. After the break, we'll have the forecast. Welcome back. In the forecast for tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 18 minutes after 6 and will set at 6 minutes past 6. Now, the first high tide is expected at 21 minutes past midnight and the first low at 3:43 in the early morning. The seas moderate to rough in open water, with swells peaking at 3 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. The winds, they're coming in from the east and they're peaking at 30 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, we can expect a mix of clear and cloudy skies along with some showers. And over the next 3 days, fair to partly cloudy skies can be expected.
And Anne-Marie Burke is back with a second serving of sports.
And I start with volleyball. The ladies took over the Wildy Gym this week as the Barbados Volleyball Association Division 1 League season continued. Carlton won their first match of the season, beating Toners 25-13, 25-21, 25-17. Meanwhile, there are wins for Deacons, Warrens, and UWA Blackbirds. CBC's Damian Best reports.
All women's action. WOW Foundation taking on UWI Blackbirds. The girls from Cave Hill with the serve. The double block is no good. Point to Foundation. The defending champions hit back minus the power. The dink is effective. Foundation would hang tough for the most part on a night where upsets were plenty. Off the fingertips and outside. However, the Blackbirds reaffirmed their title credentials to secure the matchup in 3 straight. 25-19, 27-25, 25-12. On to the next one, Hill Road versus Warrens. Back in the screen. Warrens up 1-0. Good rally building with both teams offering up free balls until Sierra Rayside delivers the winner down the line. But Warrens, coming off a cliffhanger in the opening set at 25-22, would engineer another win to move 1 set closer to victory in this fixture. Picking their spots at will, Warrens made it hard for the defense to adjust. Even the triple block was ineffective. Give Hill Road credit, they were still fighting to the bitter end, flexing some muscle on a number of occasions. Race side with a thunderbolt, wonderful execution. But this was Warren's night. In the third, they would put the gloss on the W with dogged defense. Caitlin Gaskin rejected at the net. Warrens eventually rolling to the victory at 25-22, 25-19, 25-11. Anicia Wood, another kill. Third match, Deacons in green playing Chargers. Shanae Boyce sees a space and the placement is lethal. Then Mona Crawford using the angle to great effect. Again, the middle of Chargers court is vacant. Chargers stretch the first set, setting down some gentle reminders. Cross court is good, forcing a timeout. Then a bit of trickery via Donica Small, dumps it over Boyce and is rewarded. But Deacons were just too good coming off the edge, and they will sweep their rivals 25-23, 25-22, 25-17.
Thanks, Damien. Now, Red House Raptors completed a hat-trick of inter-house sports wins when they captured yet another title at Queen's College. The Raptors totaled 934 points for a victory. Purple Pythons were second, 898, while Orange Cheetahs finished third with 842. Fourth place went to the Green Dragons. Blue Bulldogs were fifth with 751, and sixth place went to Yellow Panthers. Taking a look at the sprints is CBC's Anmar Goodrich-Boyce.
Party-like atmosphere and good vibes over at Queen's College for one reason, inter-house sports time. We were on location for the highly anticipated 100-meter sprints. Division 4 girls up first, even over the first 30 meters before turning into a two-competitor contest, neck and neck to the end. Double success for Blue House. Brittany Hall, the champion, in 14.24 seconds, ahead of Aria Kerwin, 14.19, and Kayla Rogers of Orange. Division 4 boys off and running nets, and it was also close to the line. Not much separating them, but eventually Roger Maynard of Red found the key and opened the door to victory. 14.24 seconds the time. Damar Ben of Blue was second, 14.25, and Kai Blackman of Green, he finished third. Going up to Division 3 girls first, and the race was on for second because Ray Taylor Riggins of Red House had already departed the terminal, and they're going to have to press the bell to stop her. What a class act. She won in 12.66. Shariah Codrington of Orange was second, 13.69, and Purple's Janisa Brown third. The boys followed, lots of hype surrounding this one. Who's going to take it? Eyes on lane 4, where Daniel Whitaker has ended the debate in 11.91 seconds for Purple. Pete Vassell of Orange took second, 12.12, and Yellow Zane Andrew Clark was third. Let's go to Division 2 girls, where Jazaria Levine of Red was hunting more gold. Already winning the 400-meter, she becomes the 100-meter champion as well. It was never in doubt, clocking 12.95. Hannah Lovell of Purple was second, 13.32, and third went to Jalika Walters of Orange. Boys equivalent down the lane already, and it's a done deal. Josiah Gill in the green me machine smashed the field in 11.27. Jazier Bass of Yellow took silver, 11.63, and Tavon Cadogan of Red came third. Penultimate race of our highlights package, Division 1 girls, who's the quickest of them all? The answer comes from the middle lane. Kayla Hines of Red in 12.38. Green Samara Olton was second, 12.58. And Chelsea Warwell Carter of Yellow came third. To the big one, Division 1 boys, who's the king of QC? Anyone's reign at the moment. But here comes Keandra Cumberbatch of Purple, wearing the white shirt. He soars to winning heights of 11.55. Zontre Baptiste was second for Orange, 11.71. And third went to Rashawn Hackett. Anmar Goodrich-Boyce, CBC Sports.
And that's it for sports. So back to you, Tisha.
Hey, thank you so much, Anne-Marie. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You do the same.
All right, we'll return after this break.
Build up to BSSAC, a behind-the-scenes look at preparations for BSSAC 2025. Meet the men and women in the engine room of the island's premier junior track and field event. When planning any major event, it's all about the logistics. So we're back here at the Queen's College School, the location for the BSSAC Field Event Championships. Behind me, the technical committee is having their meeting just to ensure that all is in place for the start of those events on March the 4th. Now, it's very important in build up to BSSAC for us to see what's happening behind the scenes. So in this episode, we look at the logistical part of pulling it all together. Measurements were being taken to ensure the various event sectors were to specifications. The shot put and discus circles were getting a closer inspection, assuring that they were up to standard. And logistics from venue entry and exit, security, parking, and overall event execution and management were high on the technical committee's agenda for this meetup. And the man at the helm in the technical director's seat is Dorian Best.
The committee is really the engine room of BSSAC. All technical decisions will come from there. So in terms of planning what events we will run, how we will run it, the schedules and everything that comes from the technical committee. We start usually in November. The technical committee sits down and we look at the schedule that we had from the previous year. What worked, what didn't work. As you know, we've moved here to Queen's College, so those decisions come out of that. So then we create a file for our schools to make their entries for BSSAC. So you say Amory is going to run the 100, etc. That information is sent back to us, and that information is sent February 28th is our deadline. And once that information comes into us, we collate all that information, put the people in the correct zones and so forth, and just get ready for BSSAC.
You know, you have 3 days of field events, 4 zonal days, and then 3 days of finals. How is it managing such a workload?
Well, we've been doing this for quite a long time, and I think we have enough experience to manage this kind of workload. So our field events, we try at the end of every day, obviously, to have all of our results and the things to move forward to the next day, so that our work isn't backlogged. Thankfully for us this year, after the 3 field event days, we have a whole week to prepare for our track. So once we get down to Usain Bolt, it's kind of a sense of a relief, you know, because anything can happen here at Queen's College is not a familiar place to us, but once we get down there, we manage things pretty well. As I said, this is something that we've been doing year to year to year. Most of us are involved in track and field on a wider scale, and therefore that makes it a little easier for us to manage.
So as you can imagine, there are a lot of moving parts that need to correlate to get the job technically done. And these are the men and lone women on the BSSAC Technical Committee that shoulder that responsibility to pull it all together. That was Build Up to BSSAC, a behind-the-scenes look at preparations for BSSAC 2025.
Hey, thanks, Anne-Marie, and thanks to you for spending your time with us on this Friday evening. Have a great weekend. On behalf of the entire crew, be safe as well. Good night.